This is Eye on the Community, and of course, I'm your host, Sean Anthony. Up next is Columbus City Council member, Miss Shayla Favor. Shayla, welcome back to Eye on the Community. How are you?
I'm doing well, and how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. Good to have you back on the program. And from my understanding, we're going to talk about the Stable Housing Initiative and rental assistance. Let's start with my first question. What exactly is the Stable Housing Initiative?
So a few months ago, back in August, the city, through funding that we received from the federal government, had additional funding that we need to make sure that folks were able to be properly housed and could stay in their homes as we still continue to work our way through this pandemic. So we created the Stable Housing Initiative, which currently has $12 million in COVID-19 rental assistance that was distributed to 26 organizations. For folks who are not aware, since the start of the pandemic, the city has distributed over $33 million in rental assistance. This pot of funding is different because it is targeted at reaching our at-risk populations like our seniors, youth, our immigrant and refugee populations. And so we're doing this through partnering with other smaller organizations that can have the ability to reach folks that may not be familiar with some of the larger organizations that we have traditionally partnered with.
Excellent. What tools or resources are available for Columbus tenants in need of rental assistance?
So if residents are currently in need of rental assistance, the city just launched a brand new website that can help you navigate this process. It's very user-friendly. Folks can go to rentful614.com. That's RENTFUL614.com to provide resources for tenants and landlords if you're in need right now.
That new website, can you dive in a little deeper about that? What other resources are available for those that are looking for that?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say you are new to the process of needing to navigate rental assistance. The website will literally walk a tenant through the steps of how one can obtain rental assistance during this time. If you're a landlord, it is also very much landlord friendly and will help the landlord navigate the process of how they can contact specific agencies that are going to be most helpful with them. This Rentful website is a partnership between the City of Columbus, Franklin County Board of Commissioners, United Way of Central Ohio, the Sumner Institute, and the Affordable Housing Alliance of Central Ohio. That's all to say that there are many partners at the table that are trying to work incredibly hard to ensure that our residents are getting the financial help that they need right now.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned the part about landlords, because I was going to ask you what are some of the resources available for the landlords. Can you tell us about the Housing for All legislative package and what these new changes mean for residents?
Absolutely. So I was remiss in saying on the Rentful website, it is there is translation for our Spanish speaking and Somali speaking residents as well. So that's very important to know because obviously we have a huge immigrant and refugee population. We want to make sure that everyone can get the resources that they need when they need it, right? As it relates to Housing for All legislation, this is some legislation that we passed this past March to really help residents that find themselves in some unfortunate situations like evictions. So in the City of Columbus now, you cannot be discriminated based upon your source of income, where you receive your paycheck. So whether that is through alimony, child support, or through a voucher, you cannot be discriminated by a landlord in order to obtain housing. Another piece of the legislation includes what we call renter's choice. And all that is saying is that it's providing a choice for residents who are looking to get a new apartment. We know with security deposits, traditionally, it could be 1 month's rent or 2 months' rent, right? You need those monies, those upfront costs are usually very expensive for a resident. And you could use those to help as you're moving into your new apartment. So what the legislation does is provide a resident with choice. You can pay your security deposit as you normally would, or you can pay it over 3 months as installments with your rent, or in 6 months in installments along with your rent. Once again, we understand that people are navigating this pandemic. We're navigating this crisis, and we're trying to make sure that our residents have the assistance that they need. The last piece that's included in the Housing for All legislation is what we call rental receipt. It's simply saying that if you pay your rent with a receipt or with a money order, that the landlord is required to give you a receipt for that transaction. Seems very matter of fact, but that's not happening. And what we know is that many low-income residents are usually unbanked. They don't have credit cards. And so it's hard to prove whether or not you've paid your rent should you find yourself at an eviction hearing. So trying to find progressive ways to ensure that all of our residents are adequately protected as we navigate this housing crisis.
Excellent. Lastly, Ms. Favor, we know the city is leading an education campaign to inform residents about the new housing laws. How can Columbus tenants and landlords both participate in the education campaign?
So absolutely, please pay attention to our social media websites. I am on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I'm on, I know I'm forgetting one. I'm on all of those. And we're ensuring that residents are informed. You know where there's going to be some seminars, some conversations that you can participate in. I'm really excited about these housing education efforts that are being made right now, because oftentimes what happens is the city passes various pieces of legislation and things become law, and residents don't even know what's happening. We're not looking to be punitive to landlords. We're not looking to only advocate on behalf of residents. We're trying to make sure that everyone is adequately informed about the changes that's happening through the Housing Committee. And this is one of the best ways that we can do this through this campaign. So stay alert, stay open to what's happening. Please check out my different social media websites to know what's happening next in the city of Columbus.
And what are they? What are some of your social media handles?
So I'm on Instagram at Shayla.Favor. I am on Twitter. I think it's SD Favor. And Facebook, it's Shayla Favor.
Excellent. Always a pleasure. Columbus City Council member, Ms. Shayla Favor, thank you so much for sharing this valuable information on Eye on the Community. You take care.
Thank you. Have a great one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye now.